What's up, guys? Let's talk a little fall fishing. I got some comments the other day, questions about like, hey, what do you do in the fall? It's got a little cloudy out here. The fall is a tough one. And I'll explain a little bit because I'm up here at Lake of the Ozarks. I'm practicing for the Toyota series. It starts in, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. I've been up here a whole bunch in the fall. Made a couple cuts, did pretty good last year. Now, Lake of the Ozarks is pretty cool. I love coming up here. The fall is different, and we're like right at the beginning of the fall, right? It's still hot. It still gets up to like 80s and 90s, but I think we're having a cold front or a cool front coming through. Now, here's the thing with the fall. The fall has always been like back in the past, right? Back in the past, go in the back of the creeks, all the shad go back in the creeks, so they said back in the day. And you used to fish really shallow, crank around, and try to catch those shallow fish. That stopped being, like, I never chased that. I never did that thing. It always just seemed like there was too many people back there. And I'm not talking about here, anywhere you go. Like that's always been a thing. But I've always kind of done better on the main lake. And I just kind of had to figure out where on the main lake. So not so much like summertime main lake stuff. It would almost be like pre-spawn stuff, right? But you're not gonna catch them the same way. But they're close to the channels. They're close to channel swings. They'll get super shallow, and that's kind of the stuff I like to go to. The offshore stuff is very dicey. They've been fished for all year long, and usually you can maybe find one spot or two that has a couple. That's kind of where we're at in the fall. Is they're always usually chasing bait big time. They're chasing bait more now than ever before, and mainly shad. You can still get some of those fish up there trying to get brim. But it's usually a shad thing. And it's not like match the hatch type deal. And the reason is like I've seen out here, I've seen little small shad, I've seen 4-inch shad, I've seen like 8 and 10-inch gizzard shad. So they're all over the place. And that's the problem with the fall. That's where I want to get to. I think during the fall, they're more spread out and crazy this time of the year than any other time. And it's usually that change from summer to fall, to me, is when they're the most spread out, the most unpredictable, the hardest to follow around and catch, and they're not so hard to catch sometimes, they're just hard to find. Now, I brought up that back of the creek stuff for this reason. That's what we all thought, right? That's what we all did. Now, I've done some live scope videos lately, and I get some interesting comments from people. Most of them have been good. I get a couple not so good guys trying to be smart. They just don't, they're deniers. And they're deniers in this way. You can love it or hate it, but you can't deny the fact that it works and that it shows us stuff, okay? And what it's shown me is, I'm not saying you have to go catch these fish off live scope, but if you do go live scope around, you'll see fish all over the place. Like they'll be up there in 13 foot of water, they'll be suspended out there in 40 foot of water, they'll be on the bottom, they'll be on the top, they'll be in 2 foot of water. That's the thing. It has shown me that live scope, that's what live scope does. So you can hate it. I'm not saying you go out there and throw a little minnow on them and catch them. I'm just saying that those things in the past, like the Ozark waves, those things in the past of this is what they all did in the fall is not necessarily the case. So my dilemma, here's my dilemma. I have history here, and the problem is I've caught them pretty good. I caught them last year pretty good. I had to do 2 different things, and I had kind of 3 different things to catch them. Now, one of the things I did live scope just a little bit, just to catch 1 or 2 in the morning time, and then usually I might have weighed in 1 or 2 of those a day at the most. All my bigger ones came later on in the day, either throwing a top water or way out deep. Now, I've gone and done that. It's been pretty tough. I've got this other little pattern. The problem is I can catch fish, I wouldn't say at will, but within 10 to 15 minutes of me doing it, I get bit. Now the problem is I've maybe caught 25 fish today, maybe doing it. I'd say every one of them has been between 13 and 15 inches. Maybe some were keepers. They got me 15 inches. And I know other ways to catch big ones. Like, right, I got that history here, and I know and I want to go do that. And I have gotten a couple bites shallow. They haven't been giants. I've had close to a limit doing it. And then I was like, you know what, for the last 45 minutes, I'm just going to kind of put my head down and do this other deal. Now, I can't say what the deal is yet, because I got this tournament coming up. But what I'm saying is this is the problem we all face or run into. It's starting to blow now. The storm's coming or what? We run into, this is the problem I have, is that when I figure something out like this, and I don't really want to do it, and I keep getting bit, and I catch so many that are like I did catch 1 3-pounder, I guess, this morning, but for the most part, they haven't been big. I'd say like 8 or 9 out of 10 aren't keepers, and I just don't like to do that. Problem is, and like I said, it was late in the evening, and my battery went out on my GoPro, so I had to restart this thing off my battery off my boat. Catch this thing, and I did take a picture of it on my phone, right? So I catch this 5-pounder doing it. So now I'm sitting there going, I hadn't had a 5-pounder do anything else today. So I'm at this dilemma. Do I want to sit here and I don't know. I should probably go do this a bunch more, like a bunch. And I'm setting the hook. I kind of did think that was a big one, but I am setting the hook because, once again, it's kind of like a backup to a backup. I've got this other way to catch them. I don't know if this other way, though, is that good. I'm fishing all new water. I'm not fishing water that I've ever fished before because some of these places kind of are always good. So I'm kind of leaving them alone. But yeah, fall fishing, it's tough. They're all over the place. They're literally in the backs of pockets, the backs of creeks, on the main lake, on main lake points, by the river channel, on boat docks. I've seen a couple bust. I've seen some deep. It's fall, and that's why it can be a little bit of a junk fishing type deal in the fall. You know, you got to put a couple patterns together. But yeah, that's the hard part about fall. Sometimes it's fun, and you get a little cold front, and they go nuts. Sometimes got this wind coming. But that's what I got going on. Stay tuned. I'll see if I can do an update